welcome friends once again to the NPTEL MOOC module on handling large scale data using Stata. We are almost entered into the handling of Stata software using the core data set which usually social science and management guys use, and we are trying our best to explain you every time with the help of that core data with Stata. This time we are continuing from the last lecture. I think in my understanding there are a couple of doubts what I can foresee related to variable and value labels. So, accordingly we have titled it for your better clarity. Let me explain you once again. So, good label, as I already mentioned that it makes the data much easier to understand and also it helps in better to work with. Then relating to variable label, like labeling is always good, but there are two kinds of labeling we are going to guide you here. One is variable labeling and another one is value labeling. Okay. The variable labeling actually conveys the information about a particular variable and can be a substitute for long variable names. Okay. And suppose and also it can be also helpful for a very short variable to a better comfortable variable on our own base. Suppose for example, in this case if you want to name our group variable generated in the previous example that we have given to you, that we are referring to NSS data, NSS 7th round, where our data has the coverage of one of the variable called NIC 5 digit label, NIC classification 5 digit label information is there. We wanted to convert it data and we converted and filter it to, or by our approach we have made it to NIC 2 digit classification. But if you generate a new variable with 2 digit one, let us name that correctly, let it be name it as NIC 2 digit. We request data as per our Stata command, it is label variable with the variable name as group NIC 2 digit. Okay, I will tell you, I will show you right now. We can see the result in a variable window. Let's test it or let's have a clear understanding through our Stata. Okay. Okay, so let me handle this particular variable labeling with the help of the exact data of Stata. So, this is our Stata window, Stata software, and the window we have accordingly opened. Let me open the data and guide you how to label the variable. Okay. So, now I am straightway trying my best to open the practice from the practice data set. Okay. And let me open this, and this will be available to you because we have tried our best to reduce the volume of the data, and now and that can be easily opened. All right. And okay, so I am just going to rename any variable, but I will try with that particular NIC 2 NIC data set. It is okay. But let me first rename any variable here. Okay. So, as per for example, this I mean I will not rename, I am going to give you the labeling. Suppose this is there, as a bigger name is there, I wanted to reduce it to a smaller name. Did enterprise use computers during the last 365 days? Simply last computer last 365 days. If I just want to label it accordingly, if I just try to do that, just look at this. What I will do, I will label variable, type label variable. So, here is our okay, ALA BEL label variable. Okay. Then I will click on this, as I just said 365 days computer, where was that, whichever variable you may go through, like computer. Okay. So, now I will label it. Label is already there, D the enterprise, this is the label is there, under the label it is clearly written. I just wanted to change this. Okay. I just wanted to change this. Now, what I will do, I will just a minute, I will just space. Now, within double invited comma, okay, I will write down on my own comfortable wording, so that I can easily understand. So, as I told you, if this is written with such a big sentence or big phrase, I will write down computer 365 days in 365. Suppose I write it down, computer. Now, you can use space, there is no problem, because this is labeling, not the name of that particular variable, computer 365 days. Okay. Computer 365 days. Now, you close the invited comma and then you enter. Okay. Now, look at this. It is now clearly visible, computer 365 days. Instead of the long labeling data, you can now sort it to your comfortable naming. Anytime you just open this data, if you have to save it, make sure that you have saved this. It will show with this comfortable name as per your own understanding. Okay, and that is generally very good for researcher to operate very quickly. Similarly, in our data, you can write down accordingly. The sample I have already mentioned to you, NIC 2 digit, if it is not written, then you can write it down accordingly. If you write down TW2 instead of 2, any type of name, you can keep it based on your own understanding and own comfortability. Okay. So, let us make a move. So, this is all about label variable, that is more important. Okay. So, label variable is very important for our understanding. So, mark carefully that we have explained so far label variable. Now, another aspect of labeling is called value labeling. So, value labeling, there are different ways of doing it, but why you are going to label the values? Let us be the case that in our data, let me open a comfortable data and I will show you. Okay. I will show you that why we require it and what is the necessity of value labeling. Okay. I am just going to open our example data set. Okay. This is already opened, even the NIC classification is also visible. You can have a look, I think it is there. So, it is there. So, by major activities we have named the variable name as NIC major. So, it has that particular name. Now, major NIC activities we have labeled it accordingly as per our own understanding, but if you wanted to do it, you can do it, but you need to check which digit is it available. You can just have a check on your own of this particular variable NIC, okay, major. Now, look at it is in two digit level, isn't it? So, it is in 2 digit level, but the name is, now it is in 2 digit level, NIC major once again. Okay. Okay, I am coming to that activity group right now, but now let me just guide you as I suppose in the NIC one. Okay, here suppose you wanted to name as per your own understanding NIC, it is there in the at the above. NIC measure. If you wanted to instead of measure NIC activity, if you wanted to keep your own name as I just guided, you can do it accordingly, which I have already guided. Now we are discussing value labeling. Okay. So how to label value is important. So we are sticking to this activity group. There are some categories, some I will tell you what is the necessity. Let me just have a check. Okay, just have a check of this particular group. Okay, what is that? Now there are three categories inside this particular variable activity group. Now another clarity you can have on your own, which kind of codes are already entered. If you wanted to go for it, that's fine. So it is codes are 1, 2, 3 are there already given. These labeling for 1, what do you mean by 1? 1 is for manufacturing, 2 is for trade, and 3 is for services is already given. Now we have labeled it for our own understanding. Okay. But if you want to label on your own wish, okay, separately instead of FCT manufacturing, you wanted to write it correctly, manufacturing, okay, complete name of it. So since you have already labeled, what I will do, I will tell you. So a simple aspect here to do it, label drop. First I will do label drop and then I will show you. Okay. Now you see related to label, first label name comes. Okay, label then drop. Since labeling has already been made for our own understanding, you let me first drop it and then I will clarify. Okay. Now here if I just check after dropping the label, look at now no labeling is given. Labeling of the values are not given. Okay, 1, 2, 3 is now coming. In a previous case before dropping the label, it was manufacturing, then no, trade and services. Now we are going to label it. Okay. There are, let me just guide it from the PPT. There are important ways of handling. You just mark carefully how we are going to handle it. So label define is the approach where I am going to guide you. So generally categorical data in large scale data sets are provided with codes. Okay. So large scale data set with categories wherever are there, those categories are represented with codes. Like in our example for major activities group, we have 1, 2, 3 is the codes for different activities. And from questionnaire or supporting documents, we have to find the meaning of these codes. What do you mean by these codes? These are clearly given in our questionnaire, or there are some supporting documents we have already guided earlier. Also at the time of extracting today or in another lecture, we are going to guide you clearly. Once you find the meanings and labeling the value will make your data more comprehensive. Value labels are mapping from a set of integers to set of text description. So the first step is to define the map. Okay, what do you mean by that? Labeling map. To do so, use a label define command. Okay. So label define command must have been there. Like here the command is being shown in front of you. What I will do, I will write down like this. I will go to okay. Now activity group. So I will what I will do, label define. Okay, I will start with label define. Okay. Then what label define is required? Okay. So what label define is important? So define. Okay. So what label define of that particular variable? Within that variable there are some values given, and it is in only 1, 2, 3. In integers we do not know what is the meaning of it, but once we read our questionnaire and some supporting document, we know that 1 stands for manufacturing, 2 stands for trade, and 3 stands for services. So let us do that. Okay. So now this is the one variable we wanted to the value of it we wanted to label, isn't it? Now 1, as you know very clearly, So, you have to do manufacturing, okay. Then to trade, then 3 services. Any enterprises which are involved in these kind of activities are actually labeled. Okay. Now, this is one way. What I do now, now we have got the labeling variable, okay, labeling of the values, all right. And now just have a check of it. Now, it has already been labeled. Now, there are some important aspects within it I am going to guide you. So, this after label define of that particular values, we need to check some important aspects. So, this creates a mapping called sector, but does not apply to anything. We have to tell Stata to label the values of sector. Here in our example it is sector, okay, sector LOC, okay, and sector data like rural, urban we discussed already, sector and location of that particular sector, and we have to tell Stata to label the values of sector variable using the sector mapping we just defined. The syntax is in front of you, we will also provide you the particular aspect. Okay. Now, the way we did right now for label define of a particular variable called that we just defined activity group, isn't it. So, what I do here for me label values is important. Since I have defined, what I do second one is first I define the label values, but I have to enter the values within that labeling. Okay. So, label values is also equally important, label value. Then for me the look at this, for me the sector and sector, now our the mapping variable which I have already created is in this case in our example it is activity group. Okay. So, what I will do, I will enter the activity group here, all right. I will tell you, if you have a separate coding and variable we have already made and value label we have made, then the second one should be your mapping variable. The way it has been guided. If I just enter, now your value has already been labeled at that particular variable called activity group. Okay. Now, you just mark carefully what we wanted to say. Now, the mapping variable, the label define wherever we have done, okay, wherever we have done label define, that variable should actually come here. Okay. Like there are number of variables we require with binary binary coding, okay, yes no type or dummy variable type, okay, and every time you need not type the same one for yes, 2 for no, you need not type, you simply map, you just add that particular variable which you have created just now, you just add that variable against to the variable you wanted to label. You wanted to label these right now, okay, label the value as per the mapping variable you have created called sector location. Okay. Once you have done that, you will get the exact labeling, okay, of the values. All right. Now, what is also important after understanding the labeling, combining variables, there are some intricacies involved. Some variables how to combine it, not necessarily all variables can be combined on its own wish. Now, if you wish to create a new variable whose data is combination of data values of other two variables, okay. Suppose we just want to join country code, in some data country codes are there, even in our data state codes are there, with the year variable. Year may be in numeric number is clearly given in this year, that year numeric is given, but country code cannot be numeric, isn't it. First what we need to do, convert that numeric to string, then only it will be combined. Okay. So, the numeric value to be convertible to string first. So, what we do, you convert that convert the numeric to string, then use this particular command generate string, but if your your year 1, okay. You wanted to constrain your if you know the characters, correct number of characters, you enter here as the str and its number of characters, okay. Then is equal to two variable you wanted to combine this and this, is not it. Now, how to make it string? The right command is toString command. toString, then if the variable name country code is actually is in if it is in if your code is in numeric and country code is already in string, this is in string. In our easy understanding, country code should be in string, okay. Year code, year is a numeric number, okay. If general is a numeric, if they have given even in string code, then you need not change it. You need to check whether these are they are in string or not by clicking browse. As I told you, browse data, if the color comes out to be red, then those are in string. If it is not in string, then you convert this variable with this command, okay. You just add this variable name which is in numeric, convert to string, then you change that, replace with a new name, because since you are changing, as I already suggested that whenever anything you are going to change, please change it to a new name, okay. Give you a comfortable name, maybe year, you can say your string, okay. You can convert, alright. So, now accordingly, now you can add or combine these two variables. If you want to create a new numeric combination, okay, first convert the two numeric values to string, then create a string variable that combines them, and finally convert them to a numeric, okay. Now, your combination will be of string 1. We have already guided you, dstring command is going to be useful. You apply dstring, then that variable, okay, it converts to a numeric variable, okay, and then you can able to work out with all kind of mathematical applications or command you wanted to do, you can do it. Now, this is also important, dividing variable is also quite important in Stata, and that too in our databases whichever are available. To divide of variable or to extract part of a variable to create a new one, use the substring function, okay. Like let me just tell you very clearly, I have already guided you that our data comes with our I can open that our NIC classification, okay. Let me guide you first. NIC classification of the enterprises we are considering for the NSS 7th round, it gives in 5-digit level, okay, 5-digit level, alright. But 5-digit level, what do you mean by 5-digit level? Is there must be some meaning. The 5-digit level that composed of like 2 to 3 digit combinations that basically of a group of business activities. 4-digit codes, those are they are out of that 5 digits, generally 2 to 3 till the 3 digits they keep in group of business activities. Then 4-digit a class of business activities, then 5th one is the sub code, okay, the sub classification of the business activities. They at a very disaggregated level they give the information if it is of 5-digit classification. But if it is 5-digit classification, the number of enterprises are actually so many, okay, it is very difficult to track, the activities is very difficult to track, and that too very difficult to interpret. So, if you can make it to 2 to 3 digit or 2-digit classification, the broad classification of the enterprise, who is the enterprise, which type of enterprise they are operating, if you can make it, so 2-digit classification is quite important for you, okay. So, generally 2-digit first 2-digit, if it is important for you, then you substring that, and as per our command this you will get the result. Generate the variable name you define 2-digit, okay. Now, substring is important, I am going to break it here. Substring and in our variable it is measure activity, okay, measure activity which you have just seen, just shown to you. Now, ours is most importantly in the parenthesis, what is important you need to mention. Parenthesis, you have to mention which the string variable you wanted to actually soft string. Okay. Here it is for us, it is measure activity. Now, the second the after comma after this one, the second one is the position of the first character you wanted to extract. Okay. So, out of that 5, and you know that you want to 2 digit level from the beginning or from the end, it depends. Generally for the 2 digit level, it is given in the from the beginning of our data. Broad classification are given from the beginning. So, you just specify 1 digit 1 okay there, and after the comma that is the third term. Third term is actually how much digit it has occupied. The 2 digit level classification wanted to extract from the data, it has actually occupied till second space, second character. Okay. So, the second character you have to mention 2 stands for here second character. There are 5 characters, okay, in that string. So, the second character you have to mention accordingly. Once you have done it, now your soft string is ready. Your data is extracted to a string data with 2 digit classification. But now, why to again run another command called dstring to numeric for analysis for mathematical operations. So, a single command can help you here. You just simply add real then within bracket soft string, then the inner parenthesis should be with the information. If you do that, your data is now ready with numeric data. All right. And so, basically we have guided you here today that how to label the variable, the values, and understanding string variable with numeric variable to combine those variables, which is actually very important for analysis. With this, let me close this, and we will start a new chapter in the next week on understanding combining data, bigger database, like extracting the data, merge appending, merging. So, we are going to do it in the next class. Okay, thank you.